Hey, welcome to this week's episode of Green Pillars. Okay, now I'm sure you remember my friend Manda here, who we met at Egg Camp when I had my bug problem in my garden. Manda, I think maybe you felt a little bit sorry for me. That's why you offered to... But I appreciate you being here today to help me. So stay watching to find out what we're working on today. Now, if you're like me and only decided to take up backyard farming because coronavirus taught you how important it is to be self-sustaining, then you may be a deer in headlights like me. So I've got myself an expert pair of hands today to help me get away from the headlights and into the farm. Bull Amanda, how are you?
Bull Shania, I'm good.
Hey, Sayed is here too. Thank you so much. Well, now that you're both here, please tell me your exact thoughts about my garden.
Okay, now looking at your garden, the first thing we'll do, we'll test the soil pH to make sure that the pH is right so you can get a good crop for your own consumption. By looking at it, I know exactly that your pH is not in a proper, not in the right range for you to grow better crop.
Is that why my crops look so beautiful like this?
Yes, and my colleague Shad will explain to you a bit more on that.
All right, Sayed.
I need to check the soil pH, and based on the soil pH, then I can recommend what are the products you can use to get the yield that you expect.
So, do you agree with Manda that the soil could be the reason why my crops are looking so beautiful?
Yes, your soil lacks nutrients,
right.
And your soil pH is a bit down by looking at the crops, because the healthier your crops, the less the plant can resist insect and disease.
Right.
The weaker your crop, the more infestation of disease and pest.
Right. Okay.
So let me just do a quick check.
All right, let's do it.
pH meter.
Okay. So you want to take one from this side?
I'll just take 1, 2, and 3, a few tests, and
okay. Let's see. Cool. Sayed took 3 separate pH readings from my garden bed and surprisingly enough got 3 different readings from that one area. So 3, 4.2
and 4.
4.
So
that's not very good, is it?
Yeah. The crops you want to plant, that's the vegetables like cabbage, lettuce, bean, okra, eggplant. The pH range should be from 6 to 8.
Oh, wow.
So you need our organic liquid lime that is certified organic. So what I would suggest, to remove whatever is here, replant.
So we're starting everything from scratch, basically.
Scratch, exactly.
Whew. Okay, cool. So I've basically got my work cut out for me.
Yeah. So just the basic steps, you need to prepare the garden well, and you need to apply the liquid lime.
Yeah.
That will increase the soil pH, and it's a direct source of calcium to the soil.
Right.
And then you need to, for seed raising, you need our organic compost, because for root development you need our organic compost, and a little bit of one of our organic fertilizers will just give an extra boost to the plant. Once the seedlings are ready for transplant, then you can use our growth formula.
Okay.
Growth formula helps it's a rooting hormone.
Yeah.
It helps in root development. So you'll get 100% germination. You can dip your seeds in, dip it and plant. And once you're about to transplant, you just dip your seedlings in and plant, so they don't die from environmental shock.
Because they're going from
one place to another.
And so that's after you germinate your seeds.
So once you germinate, so they can get used to the soil where you've transplanted to. So it gives you 100% germination.
Yeah.
And then you'll be using one of our organic fertilizers as a basal, which means you'll be spreading on the soil, and then you'll be transplanting your seedlings. And then followed by our organic Protect seed trays. We used to call it Activate before.
Right.
The name changed to Protect seed trays. So you'll be spraying that. Activate, normally it feeds on the microbes, and it helps control disease as well if there's disease on the soil, and it brings biologies back to the soil.
Okay.
That's what it does.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's get started. Shall we start from the basics? And that's basically scrapping everything away. And this is going above and beyond for your customers, and I appreciate it. Okay, so let's get our hands dirty and clean our garden.
The team got straight into it by weeding the garden bed, taking out the old trellis, and finally turning the soil. Couldn't let the fellas have all the fun, so I got myself a fork too.
I'm doing it, guys, I'm doing it. You don't need the gym after this. You know, I gotta hand it to the farmers who do this day in and day out, and they have to work with a much larger area. I'm already so tired doing this, and we've only just done the garden bed, but that's fine. We've got, I'm learning so much, and I'm so grateful for the help today. So coming up after the break, stick around. We are gonna be actually planting all the vegetables that we've bought. We're actually doing the garden in two ways. Half of them will be done with the fertilizers and the products, and the other half with nothing. And throughout the season, we'll see how they both grow.
And let's not forget about our meetup with Joeli. Coming up, he shows us how to DIY our own fertilizer, compost, planting pots, and even grab a bargain from Jay's Organic Farm Fiji.
So we'll see you soon.
Welcome back to Green Pillars. Before the break, the team from Egg Camp paid my backyard garden a visit to see why my crops weren't growing as well as they should have been. And well, they found exactly what they thought they would. Good soil with a not so good pH level that led to unhealthy crops and insect infestation. So we decided to scrap the whole garden bed and start from the ground up. We've completed step 1 and now it's time to move on to step 2. But before we do that, let's rewind to last week and learn about some homemade fertilizer, compost, and DIY tricks from Joeli Waqanivalu, the impressive 22-year-old originally from Laos, now residing in the urban jungle of Suva and spending any spare moment in his incredible backyard garden where he DIYs absolutely whatever he can. A marine science student with agriculture knowledge from his high school years of Form 3 to Form 7, Joeli links the two worlds through this mindset.
The first thing we have to do before moving to the ocean to protect the ocean, you have to protect the land first, because the land mostly cause problem to the ocean because everything is washing down. For as I said before, agriculture runoff also has an effect to the ocean.
And while he reuses and DIYs a lot of his farming materials such as germinating pots, fertilizer, compost and trellises, he doesn't just do it for himself. Just over 3 months ago, this young lad started a Facebook page called Jay's Organic Farm Fiji to help the community with their seedling supply. Joeli's aim is to keep seedling affordable for all families struggling in today's economic climate. You can expect to find his own blend of organic homemade fertilizers, planter bags of okra, curry leaves, eggplant, chili, capsicum, bean, sandalwood, cucumber, and more, starting at just $1. And based off of the knowledge and experience he possesses through his own farming, working with the Ministry of Agriculture and NGOs, Joeli also provides consultations on technical advice for farming and aquaculture. Lucky for us, he'll be sharing some of that knowledge with us today, starting with his homemade compost.
Coming down, I noticed your, is this your compost bin?
Yeah, this is like my first stage of compost before we move to the second and the final stage.
Yeah.
So from here, it's all the organic raw material from the kitchen. As you can know, we have the dalo, peelings, we have the cassava peeling, even the bele, suckers, and all those other things that are green or can be decomposed, including those egg tray. It can be decomposed. We all them in the compost, and after sometimes we have to put a layer of soil so it prevent the smell. And another thing, being mindful, we don't have to put inside anything being cooked. This will attract pests and disease, and also it attracts pests such as mongoose or even pests such as dogs. It will spoil your compost.
So this has to be purely like raw.
It's all raw.
Things. Okay. So you said this is the first stage. What's the second stage?
This is our second stage of compost. From the first stage, we have to transfer it from here, where it mixed with the final stage compost, as we notice over here. But we have to turn it weekly to overturn it, so it mix and fasten the decomposition and the microbial activity with the organism on the organic matter. As we can notice, this stage it's not been 100% decomposed.
Oh yeah, so it hasn't fully absorbed.
Yep. But this is the final stage where it is been ready. You can use this for your garden.
Oh,
It's really 100% ready.
wow. How long has this taken?
It's a process mostly takes for that stage to here a monthly stage. Yeah, so it's a bit take a long period of time.
Yeah.
But the only advice, if they want it to be much more quicker, so they have to chop down all those ingredients, all those things, so that it allows more surface area for those bacteria to work on them. So it will reduce time compared to these large, smaller surface area, because they're big. So the bacteria will
Take a longer time.
to break down those.
Okay, this looks like an old laundry basket. And you've basically made something out of it.
Yes, just looking at the thing, I just saw this old basket not being used. It was outside, so I thought, what can I do with it? So I saw it on YouTube, that how they do vertical farming with an old basket and old thing. So I fill it with the soil, and I start planting a lettuce, we have the kale, and even cucumber here. For first time, my family was asking me, what you doing with it? No, I just have to try this out, but now it's getting like it's working, and it's awesome now. So the only advice we can do to viewers, whatever is available there, as I mentioned before, you can use it. For example, this old laundry basket.
While Joeli didn't flinch getting back down, I, in my struggles, eventually made it back down and was taken for a little tour around his house and was pleasantly surprised at how he managed to utilize every area of his compound with little plots of garden everywhere. We even got a tour of his little garden shed under the house, full of homemade organic fertilizers in their different stages, eggshells used for seed germination, and even a seedling tray utilizing used kava, or kosa as we call it, as manure.
So this is a place where I put my seedling tray, or small seedling if it's we have that bad weather or whatever, and also where I process my organic manure.
Wow. And tell me, okay, so what's in here? This one?
That one, I haven't planted anything inside, but there's a soil, but this is the yangona, I think I was saying.
Oh, right.
Instead of using those sodas, I just use this yangona thing. Because in the sodas, there's a chemical also inside. Because the wood have been treated.
Yeah.
So there's a possibility of a chemical inside.
And what do you have down there? Because those look deadly.
Yes, this is what we call an organic fermenter fertilizer. It's all the kitchen waste. Instead of putting in the compost, I blend them together.
Yeah.
And just add a few water. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, then blend them together, put it and ferment it before I transfer it into the bottle that side.
Let's get ready for the smell.
Wait.
so the gas.
Yep.
The gas forms in it.
Yeah, it's due to the fermentation
Yeah.
inside, and also the work of the microbial activity inside.
Yeah.
They're feeding on all those organic matter and also releasing the nutrients all into the thing. The gas form inside is mostly methane gas.
Yeah.
Due to the absence of oxygen, there is an aerobic respiration occurs with the organism to help to break down and get the glucose.
And how long did it take you to get to that stage?
Okay, from this stage to this stage, after 2 or 4 days from the first stage, then I'll put it in the bottle after 4 days and it will be fermented like that.
Oh, okay.
For this one, it's much more faster compared to having the compost.
Yeah.
So for this one, so if I have a lot of kitchen waste, I cannot do it in this process. So I have to the other alternate way. So it's like it's ongoing process whereby I cannot waste anything.
Yeah. No waste, guys. No waste at all. You were telling me about the eggshells and how you do like a little seedling thing in here. And that's pretty cool. So you can actually put the seeds in here and they'll germinate.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Can you show me how to do one just in case I want to try it myself at home?
Okay. Okay. This is just the only thing. You can have a eggshell like this. The only thing we have to do, we have to make a hole on the bottom.
Okay.
As we can see, make the hole. So this for drainage purposes.
So we can use it. What is this kind of stick, like the sasa broom?
Yeah, sasa stick, or you can have use a nail or something sharper.
Okay. And this is big enough?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So now that we've made the hole, what do we do?
Yeah, just after that you can use any grow medium you have.
Yeah.
Your potting mix, and you just fill it. Just fill it up to the brim.
Yeah.
And after that you just can make a small hole inside to put your seed.
Oh, okay.
There you go, it's
There we
just
go.
simple.
And seed goes right inside. Simple as that. Can help you germinate your seeds. Cool beans. Okay, I'm gonna put it in your tray.
Living in a COVID-affected time has got most of us wanting to be wiser with our money. And what better way than to be self-sufficient with our own food supply and with as many of the products needed to help start that food supply. Who wouldn't say yes to saving a few bucks? We hear the term reduce, reuse and recycle often but seldom practice it. Joeli, however, does. So we asked him to show us how to DIY our own seedling tray using plastic bottles, which is way better than it ending up in our landfill and ocean.
I think the only material you should have an old plastic bottle, a knife or scissors or cutter or anything you can cut your plastic bottle.
Yeah.
Also you can use a hammer, a nail for making the holes on the bottom for drainage system, or you can use something, a hot metal to make the hole on the bottom. So start off, the only first thing we have to do, we have to cut off the top parts. There we go.
Wow, fun.
This is our first stage. You have to remove the top part where you can put the soil.
Yeah.
The second stage, we have to make holes.
This.
So you can use a hammer to make holes on the bottom.
That's for drainage.
Yeah. So we can have a look here. We have enough hole for drainage system. And after that, you can just bought your string from a hardware shop.
Yeah.
You just can tie it together.
So you make another hole just at the edges there. And the bottom?
And the
Just
bottom.
run it up. Wow.
And you
So
just fill
creative,
it.
so inexpensive.
Yep.
Right?
So you just fill your soil or your grow medium inside, and you can plant whatever. So the only thing I recommend is herb,
Yeah.
because it will be most of the thing will be hanging in indoors or in the porch. So it doesn't need much more sunlight.
It doesn't need a lot of
yes.
space.
And another thing, be mindful of while you're watering your. Yeah. Sometimes you have to check regularly for it should be not be dry. It will be moist. Should be moist, not wet,
Yeah.
not dry, but moist.
Okay.
And also you can use a different container, like for example,
Yeah.
having this container, and you can make hole on the side. You can
Yeah.
hang it like this.
So like a hole that's there.
There's a
like
hole. And another big pot on the bottom,
that. Yeah.
and another small one on top. So you just water from on top and it will go down. So
down.
yeah, it will be just like a triangle.
Yeah.
Small one, the middle one, and the big one.
Head to our Facebook or YouTube page to hear more of what Joeli had to share with our Green Pillars viewers. Now back to my backyard garden, which was a far cry from Joeli's, but was finally getting some much needed help. After prepping the garden bed by weeding, taking down the old trellis and turning the soil, it was time to treat our low pH soil to some organic liquid lime to help raise the pH and give our new veggies a healthier environment to grow.
This is the product is the organic liquid lime
Yeah.
that we're going to use to try and raise as a soil conditioner to try and help improve the soil pH, apart from the reading that we've taken earlier.
Yes.
We're going to mix this at a rate of 10 ml per liter.
Yeah.
This bucket is approximately 18 liters. So it's 10 ml to a liter of water. Can you hold that for me, please?
Sure.
This measuring cup is 100 ml.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put 175 mils into the bucket.
Measure 10 mils of liquid lime to 1 liter of water. We used approximately 17 liters of water, which meant 175 mils of liquid lime. Then it was time to condition the soil. The guys got to work and my juice was refreshing.
I felt bad. I was drinking juice while they were doing all the work, so I have to help. It is my garden after all, so.
Join us next week to see the final product, how we plant the seedlings, how we germinate certain seeds, and a 1-week follow-up on both the herb and veggie garden. Find Green Pillars on Facebook and YouTube to catch up with all our previous episodes. We'll see you next week.